There's a question that I've been getting hounded with. What's the best keyboard for $100? Then you look online and there are dozens of keyboards at this exact price. And when you look closer, they're all eerily similar. 75% aluminum, gasket mounted, with wireless connectivity. Which begs the question, which one sounds the best, looks the best, and is the best for your hard-earned money? Because we all know money's hard to come by. So over the past few months, I've been collecting and testing them so I could do all the work for you. After weeks of testing and wondering what the true differences were, I finally figured out which are the best. So starting out, if you want a keyboard that's packed with more features than any other option on this list, this one is probably the one for you. And this is the Bridge 75. And it comes at a competitive price of $85 or $98 with shipping. The Bridge 75 is a great value purchase. The standard edition comes in either black or silver. I got the silver one, but if you want more options, then you have to pay for the Plus edition. So now the price jumps from $85 to $119 or around $130 with shipping. So the most notable features in the Bridge 75 is that you can easily take it apart with this ball catch mechanism. You simply pull up on the case and it pops off. So it makes this really loud sound, but it makes it easy to tinker with your keyboard. It also has VIA, which is a browser-based software. You can easily use this to change the layout of your keyboard. A lot of the keyboards on this list don't have VIA, so the Bridge 75 has an advantage on this one. So if you're looking strictly at features and price, Bridge 75 is a clear winner. Unfortunately, it's a lot more complicated than that. Upon using it, it does feel really simple. There's no frills, and it doesn't exactly feel special in any way. It's made by a new brand called Shortcut Studios, and I couldn't really find many details on them or contact information or really anything. But you can buy this keyboard from small retailers, which makes the whole process feel just a bit sketchy. If you have any problems with this keyboard, you might be out of luck. So I'll let you decide if it's worth the extra $30 or $40 or not. One thing that I found that's inconvenient and frustrating is that you have to take the top plate off to turn the keyboard on and off. Like, why would you do that? And you need tweezers to reach the on-off switch. Like, what the heck? Just put a toggle switch on the case. It'll just be so much more convenient. Right there. Boom. In fact, a lot of the keyboards on this list don't have a on-off switch, just easily findable. It's hidden, and it feels like a scavenger hunt trying to find them. I also found that when taking apart the keyboard, it's really easy for these tiny gaskets around here to fall off, which is quite an annoyance as well. That being said, if you like the standard edition and you're willing to risk it for the biscuit, it's a great keyboard for the price. It's heavy duty, it sounds great, and it looks pretty good. So here's what it sounds like. Next up, we have my personal favorite, the Rainy 75. In my opinion, it's the coolest looking keyboard on the list. It's got the nicest build with this little cloud on the bottom right next to the arrow keys. It's got a shattered glass aluminum back weight thing with the cloud etched right into it with raindrops. They really paid attention to the detail here. And don't forget, the tricolor keycaps are really nice. They're some of my favorites actually. This one has a mix of black, cream, and mocha colors, which are really smooth, and they go amazingly well with this case. And it probably has my favorite layout, which is a space between the number row and the F row and a small space here for the arrow keys, and there's no knob. It also comes packed with a variety of foams, giving it a rich marbly sound. It's got PE foam, plate foam, pour-on foam on the bottom, and a PET plastic sheet between the pour-on and the batteries. The downside though is that it costs more than the other options. Now on the Wabkey website, which is the maker of the Rainy 75, it lists $99, which seems like a great price. But once you factor in shipping, this thing shoots up to about $150, and on Amazon, it's around a similar price. I also don't really like how they put the on-off switch under caps lock. This means you have to take the keycap on and off every time you want to turn it off and turn it on. Like the other keyboard, I really wish they did a toggle switch instead. But it's still better than the switch under the plate on the Bridge 75. It's easier to access, you don't need tweezers, you can pry the caps lock off, it's not that bad. Now the biggest feature that this keyboard lacks is the ball catch mechanism. It's not as easy to take apart as a Bridge 75. In fact, you have to take off keycaps, unscrew it, and then take it off. But if you're not into tinkering with your keyboard, I wouldn't worry about this. And here's what this sounds like. So if you do want the ball catch mechanism, you can take a look at this instead. Now this is the Choki 75. It has a completely different vibe into it. The one that we got comes with two-tone black and white keycaps. It's simple, it's elegant, it's a little lightweight. It's got a small screen on the bottom right, which personally I'm not a huge fan of. I know some people really like screens, I don't. And for this, some reason, it's also natively in Chinese, so you do have to change it to English. But they do show you how in the super easy quick start guide. They're the only company with a quick start guide. That's nice. And the back plate, the weight here has these raw machining marks on it. If that's your thing, you know, you might like it. I don't personally like that either. And the most interesting thing is that there are 3 mounting styles that you can use to install this keyboard in. And the ball catch mechanism makes it super easy to take apart and try them all out. It's definitely the best option if you like to tinker. However, because it has a screen, you have to constantly plug and unplug ribbon cables, and you might accidentally cut something, and you just gotta be careful. It gets annoying and it adds a potential place for the keyboard to break. And because it has a screen, it now uses proprietary software, which also isn't easy to use. The on-off switch is underneath right shift. Unfortunately, you need tweezers for that too. Come on, why are we doing this? Make a toggle switch. Is that so hard? The sound of this keyboard is less marbly than the Rainy 75 and a bit thocky and quieter. It's also a little lighter too, but like the Rainy 75, it's priced at around $99. But once you add shipping, this keyboard shoots up in price by $50. So if you live in the US, this can cost about $150. You can also buy it on Amazon, which I recommend because a lot of these companies have suspicious customer support. Here's the hard part about choosing a keyboard on this list. I talked about a few of my favorites for different reasons, but the true answer is it just depends. It depends on your preferences, what features you want, how you want it to sound, and how it looks. And that's all preference based. And of course, how much you actually want to spend on a keyboard. A few of these options are listed at $99, but sometimes you can get them for as low as $70, and sometimes they go all the way up to $150. But between stuff like Prime Day, shipping costs, random coupons you can apply, the prices of these boards are always changing. Let's take a look at the other keyboards on this list, and at the end, I'll let you decide which one you think sounds the best in a blind sound test. Don't worry, there's gonna be answers somewhere. Now, the next one. If you're looking for a keyboard with a knob, some people really love knobs. This is the Applemaker P75, and it's pretty much some of the few options that come with a knob. Now, when I tested this keyboard, I really enjoyed the simple design of the keycaps. My favorite being this blue and white version. The layout is also more exploded than the other keyboards, so you have that extra space between the arrow keys, the nav cursor, the number row, and the function row. You're not gonna accidentally hit these keys while you're using these keys. It's just a quality of life thing. The knob does take away one of the keys, but in this case, they opted to not have an end key. A simple benefit to this keyboard is the convenience. Finally, we have a toggle switch. You can use this toggle switch to go between off, 2.4, and Bluetooth right here. Although for some reasons they didn't add any labels to this toggle switch. And you've got storage for the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, so you won't lose it. Everyone needs to do this. Please, everyone. Dongle holder, on-off switch. Now the biggest downside to this keyboard is that it doesn't have VIA or a ball catch mechanism. And there's no backplate. It's just simple aluminum. It's a little lacking on the feature side. It looks a little boring, I guess, but it's simple, it's sleek. But if you don't care about these extra features and you like the look and the sound, it's a pretty strong contender. Now it actually comes in at $99 with free shipping on Applemaker. I would definitely look for discounts on Amazon or the official website, because if you can get this at a discount, that'd be really cool. And here's what it sounds like. This next keyboard is a little different from the other options. It's called the XVX K75 Pro. Now the most noticeable difference that you'll see right now is the screen instead of a knob. And the keys at the top are really squished together and more compact than the other layouts on this list. The F keys are placed right above the number row, but not aligned properly. Why? And the navigation keys are just right next to the alphas. Everything's just squished together. So I'm not a huge fan of the compact layout, as it makes it easier to hit the wrong keys, but that's more personal preference. A couple of cool details are these bezels on the side. Ooh, look at that, it's really cool. And it's spray coated with this baby blue color. It has not a very fancy backplate or anything. When you touch it, it doesn't leave any oily fingerprint marks, except for this black backplate, which does leave fingerprints. Now, I'm personally not a fan of the way they did the backplate. It's just simple. It's a black strip with the XVX logo on it, and it looks really out of place with the rest of the build. The whole thing is like a nice design. And then you got this. I do like the on-off switch on the backside. It's not hidden like some of the other keyboards. And you even get this toggle for Windows and Mac. Ooh, nice. However, for some reason, it just doesn't work right when you connect it. You need to press FN5 for it to boot up. I just wish these keyboards would work straight out of the box. Is that too much to ask for? And this isn't just a limitation of this keyboard. This limitation was for most of these keyboards where you plug it in and it doesn't work right away. On the XVX, I also had an issue with the spacebar where it kept scratching the case. Turns out the stabilizers had just been over lubed, so I gotta work out a few kinks, but right now it's all right. Overall, it has some great color options at a really competitive price, $99. I actually got this for $80, I think. Here's how it sounds. Next, we've got the Unity AL75. It's another one of those cheaper options, and it's on this list for a simple reason. Unlike the other keyboards, this one offers onboard storage for your 2.4 gigahertz dongle hidden right underneath this little metal plate. Boom, you see that? Dongle holder. Super convenient. It also has a toggle switch for on, Bluetooth, and wireless. I like the color options. They went with the blue here with the black and white keycaps, and it's got a little gold accent for this planet, and they go well together. It has a cool light bar between the arrow keys and the bottom row. The sound of this keyboard is more on the clacky side, which is slightly high pitched. It's also not compatible with VIA, so it does lack a couple of those other features that you may want. I also found that it had a lot more pinging noise, which I'm not a personal fan of. Interestingly though, it has a lower typing angle than the other options, so that could be a bonus for you if some of these are a little bit too high. Here's what it sounds like. This next keyboard is a community favorite, and I was super excited to check it out, but I almost didn't include it in this video. Why? Well, when it came to my doorstep and I plugged it in my computer, it just didn't work. It was basically bricked. It didn't turn on. I pressed all the buttons, nothing happened, but I chatted with customer support and I was able to take it apart, replug the ribbon cables, and then it finally did work. This is the Womier SK75, and while I absolutely love the look of this beautiful blue, I guess, rainbow chroma mirror plate thing, it's hard to recommend something that arrived broken. But after fixing it with the help of support, I decided to put it back into the video. Now, from what I've read, people really love this keyboard because it's one of the fewer options with VIA. You can remap the keys. It also feels really heavy. It feels a lot more hefty than the other options, but it doesn't have a knob. So you have access to most of the keys possible in the 75% format. They could have opted to remove this Womier logo and added another key, but I think it's pretty classy. A downside though, it doesn't have any switches. There's no on-off button. There's no toggle between wired Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz. You have to use the on-off switch underneath caps lock, and then you have to hold a few keys to get the other things to work. So if you plan on buying it, I recommend going through Amazon because they said that even though I was out of the refund window, if it didn't end up working through Womier customer support, I could still return it. And here's what it sounds like. Now, in preparation for this video, I thought this keyboard would dominate this roundup, but I was disappointed. This is the LimoKey P1 Pro, and it's a keyboard that's from a spin-off brand from Keychron. Now, the reason I'm disappointed is the price. It comes in at a whopping $129, whereas most of these keyboards are $99. You also have to pay $30 shipping on this thing, so now it's more like $140 or $150, which is pretty pricey. In my opinion though, this needs to be closer to $99 with an option for free shipping to be competitive. That being said, there is a reason why someone would buy this keyboard, which I'll get into soon. I really like this keyboard because it comes with a tri-tone keycap mix, and it has a nice unique look between the yellow, the blue, and the black. It also has the exact same layout as the Emblemaker P1 and a knob, so it's pretty functional. It's easy to use. It also has this on the back. Ooh, nice awesome little weight here. It's mirrored. It's got a cool design with the mountains and the triangles. It just makes it feel a lot more custom and premium. For a spin-off brand of Keychron, I feel like it's better than the Keychron brand from just the way it looks. You get access to the Limo Key software. It's similar to Via, so it's pretty easy to remap the keys no matter where you are without having to download bloated software that you might not trust. It comes with a simple toggle switch with labels. It says Bluetooth, cable, and G, so you know what you're doing. I'm not a fan of the stabilizers of this keyboard. I had to re-lube it and it's still pretty rattly. Keychron, figure your stuff out. Now the reason that some of you should consider the Limo Key P1 is that it offers ISO layouts and in different languages for people that don't live in the US, such as DE, UK, Nordic, and Swiss, which is a huge plus. Here's what it sounds like. Note, this is the only tactile keyboard on this list. Now that we've covered all of these keyboards, I want you to put on a pair of headphones and really listen to the upcoming blind sound tests. I'm not gonna show you the keyboards, I just want you to choose your favorite based on the sound. And then afterwards, I'll tell you which keyboard it was. So which one was your favorite? I'll include the answers in a pinned comment. Don't scroll down though. Don't cheat. Don't do it until you write down your favorite. Make sure to check out this video right here on mistakes to avoid when buying your first mechanical keyboard. Bye. That's a lot of keyboards.